Hi, my name is Jim Brainer, and I want to talk to you a little bit about my wife and I's journey to generosity. In 1993, we built a new home in St. John. Growing up Lutheran and getting married in an ELCA Lutheran church, we were very excited to see a new ELCA Lutheran church being built just 5 minutes from our home at the same time as we were building. Now, this is where things get a little embarrassing for us, because we decided not to look into joining the church until the construction was all done, because we didn't want to get involved in church construction. What finally drove us to join the church was that our children needed to go to church, or at least that's what we said. At that time, they were young and getting closer to confirmation age, so we thought we would get them to join the church so we could get the confirmation going. But if you know Pastor Vance, you know he liked to get new members involved as soon as possible. And so our journey began. First, my wife Angie was asked to be children's ministry chair. So even though she had never done it before, but that's how Pastor Vance worked. And she held that position for more than 4 years and kept as children's ministry for a long time after that. I didn't do much at the beginning, but eventually I joined a few committees, became vice president, and then president of the congregation. And the ironic part about that was when I became vice president and president is when we decided to add on to the church, so I got stuck with church construction anyways. But being involved in the church is when we really began to understand what we should and could be doing. As our involvement in the church grew, so did our faith. The more our faith grew, the more we realized how abundant our blessings were. As we began to realize how abundant our blessings were, we began to realize that not only could we give more, we wanted to give more. But we didn't have a clue on how to begin that journey. We couldn't just start writing bigger checks because our income had already been designated toward other debt that had been accumulated and earmarked for other things in life that we wanted to enjoy and experience. Then, sitting around the campfire with some charter members of Holy Shepherd that we had become good friends with, the topic of tithing came up. We were embarrassed to tell these people, who had been faithful members of one church or another their entire lives, that we were not even close to tithing. But finally, we got up the nerve to tell them. And their response was something like, "Oh, nobody can begin tithing all at once." They told us how they just slowly increased their giving every year, making a commitment to one day reach their goal. That was a huge weight off our shoulders, so we took their advice. As the years progressed, we remained committed to giving a little more every week. We were scared at first, terrified that we wouldn't be able to pay our bills if we gave too much. But then we realized that at the end of the month, we didn't have any less money. Our bills were still getting paid, and there seemed to be a little extra spending money at the end of each month. I hate to use the comparison to a chain letter, but that's actually how it felt. The more we gave, the more we received, both financially and spiritually. Each month, God found a way to help us reach not only our existing financial obligations, but our spiritual ones as well. Anyone that is close to us knows that our family has had its share of trials and tribulations, especially most recently. But our faith has grown so much now that we know God is always with us. He doesn't promise that there will never be hard times, but he does promise that he will always be there to see us through them. That's not always an easy thing to remember, but all we have to do is look around us to see how God has richly blessed us with family and the many friendships that we have found right here at Holy Shepherd. How can we not respond with a generous heart when he has blessed us so richly?